This is Tully Blanchard, one of the original members of the Four Horsemen with Ric Flair and Arn and Ole Anderson. And you know what? With this world of high technology, you've got to go to the best. You've got to be the best. You've got to have the best equipment, just like the Four Horsemen always told you. InYourHeadOnline.com. That's the premier place to get your information about the wrestling business today, tomorrow, and even in the past.
How are you doing health-wise? Do all little nagging injuries, a lot of those heal up when you took a lot of time off for wrestling?
I find that is a myth.
Okay.
I feel great, I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel terrific, but if I'm waiting for all the little tiny aches and pains to go away, I think I'll be an old man. And a lot of wrestlers who had retired told me in the past that once you stop, that's when you start really hurting because you're sucking it up while you're doing your job, and once you stop, all arthritis sets in and all that. So that's a different perspective. Then you hear the guys that say, well, when you're off, for a few months, you get all rested up, you feel good. What I find to be true is when it comes to physically, my body, I do feel great. My knee that I had the surgery on, I know that every day my knee lets me know that it's there and that it got operated on. I feel that. Little things, my ankles and wrists, that's stuff that I just deal with, that I always live with. But I feel like I'm in great shape, and where I really feel revived is my energy. I used to never be able to stay awake at home, except for, like I said, since I was 4 or 5, 6 in the morning, I'd be up holding my wife while she's sleeping, just because I don't want it to be taken away from me, and I would panic because I knew how many hours. Once I got off the airplane to come home, the back of my mind starts counting hours till I got to come back to the airport. That was always so stressful. I said, oh no, I got 9 hours till I got to go to the airport, which means I got to leave my house in 8 hours, or 7.5 hours to get there 30 minutes and a flight. I was always doing this math, and it was crappy. So right now, while I'm not doing that, I'm able to relax from that stress. I'm able to achieve a more calm, peaceful, zenful grasp on perspective, which is totally what I'm wanting to do, and it really frees up a lot of energy from distractions so that I can focus, on just being grateful, glad, and being able to enjoy my home and my view and the beautiful weather in California. And this is all the stuff that I always miss when I'm on the road, man.
Mm-hmm. We get a lot of snow here in Massachusetts.
You can keep it. You can keep that snow in Massachusetts. Thank you.
Well, something I actually was wanting to ask you was, I would assume you met Ted DiBiase later on when you got into wrestling. Did the basketball incident ever come up?
Actually, when I dribbled that basketball, I was a little black kid. If you really think about it, it was the kiss. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Right. And that did come up recently. Like early in my career, I didn't want to bring that up, and then when I came to WWE, I definitely didn't want to bring it up because I'm thinking these idiot writers are going to think there's some big money from having this big angle of this kid that grew up wanting revenge or something. Yeah. So I tried to keep that under the hat. I didn't want anybody to know. And then when they interviewed my dad for the behind-the-scenes thing that they did on that Confidential show that before they were superstars, and he mentioned it. I was like, oh, Dad, no, they're going to use that against me. And then I eventually ended up owning it, accepting it, and saying, okay, it happened. I'm in a position right now where they can't use that against me, and then, yeah, like I said something to him about it one time, and he just kind of like laughed. He remembered, but he wasn't disrespectful or anything like that.
Yeah.
By the way, you can get Officer Brian Keenan to shovel your driveway. He's a friend of mine up there in Massachusetts, freezing his balls off beside you.
Oh, okay. Is he anywhere near Cape Cod?
I don't know. It's all like one big cold state. I think he's near. He's not far from Boston. I think he's closer to. Is it Waltham?
Oh, okay. That's way on the other side of me.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually,
all I remember is the Squire.
The Squire?
Yep.
What's that?
It's a club that I used to go to.
Oh, okay. I live in a quiet little town called Sandwich.
Okay. Oh, and also Reading, where Killer Kowalski had his school, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's still there.
Reading, and there was another town too, with an M, Malden, Massachusetts. Which, actually when I was 18, before I even visited the Sheik, before I met the Sheik, I took a trip out there to Boston and visited Killer Kowalski's school, because that was my only in. I'd been writing and calling everybody, and here was a guy that responded and said, yeah, come check out my school. And I went up there, and he could not have been more gracious. I was just a 180-pound, 18-year-old kid fresh out of high school, with skinny little arms, and this guy picked me up from the airport, took me to the hotel, picked me up, took me to the school, worked out with me and his whole class and everything, dropped me back off. I mean, he couldn't have been cooler to me, and I don't even know. He's always been cool later in my career. Like in WWE, he always goes way out of his way to come up and to tell me that he thinks I'm the best, and that, you know, he really appreciates, you know, everything that I do, and he's a big fan of mine and all that. And I always wonder if he puts two and two together and remembers me as that little 18-year-old kid. I've tried to explain that to him, but I really don't know if he understood, because I looked a little different.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to do that? Like maybe take someone under your wing or train anybody?
There's been times that I have wanted to do that, and of course the wrestling school is always one option that's out on the table, you know. It's not one that I'm really interested in at the moment, you know, in pursuing. You know, it really, it's just, as far as staying away from it goes, first off, I don't ever want to insult the wrestling fans, you know, and say that wrestling is not every, you know, I don't want to say it's not cool, I don't want to say it's stupid, but for me, I need to be detached from it. I watched UWF, a few minutes of that the other night, and I actually enjoyed. Yeah, and I was watching it, you know, and I was kind of enjoying it for a minute, and I was realizing, you know, Bruno Sammartino, the legend that he is, especially there in Massachusetts, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he is like a god of wrestling. Everybody, you know, has nothing but great things to say about him. And he's doing the color commentary, and I'm watching these wrestlers in the ring, and I saw this guy throw the crappiest, just most horrible punch at the other wrestler. It was one punch, and it made me realize how much I don't like the business. and what followed that horrible, crappy punch was Bruno coloring it. And I don't just mean color, I mean pencils, inks, color, balloon. He's like, whoa, did you see that big left-hand knuckle sandwich coming out? That nearly dislocated his jaw. And it was just like, it was like enlightenment. I just realized I would be dangerous to be in wrestling right now because I couldn't look at it that way, you know, because of my feelings on it right now. I have no business being around it, representing it. I would be the opposite. If I was doing color commentary, I'd be like, oh my God, did you see that horrible drop kick? Didn't this kid go to wrestling school before he was on TV? 1 foot went in the balls, 1 foot in the thigh. That had to have been the worst drop kick I'd ever seen. But look at the guy that sold it. What is he doing?
I'd pay to see that.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, it's not good. It's not good for that business.
Right.
They need me to be away as much as I need me to be away. And obviously, I can be professional, and I've proven that, you know, from 2001 to recently in the WWE, because the whole time I was looking at it that way, just more and more and more, with a few slight interruptions of hope when they brought ECW around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always talk about you know, ECW on here, and you say, like, the first two pay-per-views did so well, and the DVD did so well, and that was, like, with no, like, build-up, really, just kind of threw it out there. And then, like, a year of WWE TV, and then it was, like, the December to Dismember, and it did, like, so poorly. And that was after a year of, like, WWE pushing, you know, having a weekly TV show. They actually took away, like interest in the product instead of adding interest.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, and you get no argument from here. December to Dismember was the death of the original ECW. It was, let's kill off these guys that we know the fans want to see, and let's make Bobby Lashley the new representative of this new brand that we're going to introduce to them. It was a special moment, you know, that was pretty hardcore, actually. It really was.